In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the front strut assemblies in this Toyota Prius. Let's get into it. Remove the wheel, use a 21mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Remove the wheel, using some locking pliers on the back side of the sway bar link. You're going to prevent the stud from spinning, just lock it down. Then using a 17mm socket, take the nut off. Take that out. Using a 12mm socket behind these brake hose and the wire for the ABS, you're going to take that bolt out. Take that out. Slide these brackets off and out of the way. Using a 19mm wrench and a 19mm socket, we'll take these bolts and nuts out. And take these bolts out. This is going to drop down a little bit. I'm just going to slide this out. And we're going to tip this in. You don't want this tipping out too far because you're going to mess up the CV shaft. So just tip that in using a bungee cable. Just put it around the top of the knuckle just so it doesn't tip out. That's fine right there. There we go. That won't tip out. That'll be good. Take the cap off the wiper blade. I'm going to just use a pick. You could use a straight blade screwdriver, pocket screwdriver. Just pop it up. Using a 14mm socket, loosen up the nut. Grab the wiper arm, rock it up and down, and slide it off. If it doesn't come off that easy, they do make pullers for wiper arms. Using a 14mm socket, take this nut off and this nut. Grab the arm and slide it off. Using a trim tool, just get underneath the weather strip, just pop it out. There is some retainers holding it in. It's just glued on right there. And I'll just fold that over. We don't have to take it off the whole entire thing. It is split right there. There's a push pin right here. I'm just going to use the trim tool, push down on the center, and just get underneath it. Just pop it out. Grab this panel. I'm just going to slide it up. It's going to come down, and it comes right out. Using the trim tool, take this push pin out. Grab this panel, slide it up, and then down, and it slides right out. Disconnect the connector here, just push down on the tab, slide it off. Take these 10mm bolts out, just using a 10mm socket. Last one near the motor. And grab the wiper transmission and motor and slide it right out. Using a 10mm socket, take all these bolts out. That one broke. Alright, those came out. Now this is loose. Just grab this panel and carefully slide it out. You can see there's some wires still attached. Just going to use some needle nose pliers. Just squeeze this just to get a little more slack. Slide this out of the way, fold it over, that's good. We'll just leave that there. We can access these nuts. Using a 12mm socket, take these nuts off. Before you take the last one off, you want to go underneath. Grab the spring with your other hand and take it off. And slide this down. And slide it out. You need to put the strut assembly in a spring compressor and compress the coil spring. Then on top of here, just use a screwdriver or a trim tool. Pop this little rubber cap off. Using a 19mm socket, loosen this up. I'm just going to hold the strut so it doesn't fall. Take that nut off. Lower the strut. You can take this bumper off. Take the new strut. And we're going to compress it. Let it go. Do this 3 times. Put the bumper on. Slide this up in position. Take this cup. Slide that on so it sits good. Should lock in place. The upper mount, flip it over, take the nut, get that started, snug that down first. Just going to loosen a little tension on the spring and then torque this to 34 foot-pounds. That's good. And take the cap, put it back on. Now you can remove it from the spring compressor and put it in the vehicle. Now slide the base in first. And slide it up. And line it up. Make sure the studs come through. And make sure you have a nut in your hand. Get that started. Once you get that started, you can let go of the strut. Put the other 2 nuts on. And now we're going to leave these loose and attach everything underneath. Now take the bungee cord off. Slide the knuckle up. Get it lined up with the strut. Put the bolts in. Take the nuts, get those started. Tighten these down. Torque these nuts and bolts down to 113 foot-pounds. these brackets on. The brake hose, get that in place. Take the bolts, get that started. Now snug that down. That's good. It's not loose. Take the sway bar link, line that up. I still have my locking pliers on there. Put the nut on, tighten this down. Torque this nut to 55 foot-pounds. Take the locking pliers off. Put the wheel on. Put the bolts in. Or the lug nuts on. We're going to torque the lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Go around again, double check. With the vehicle on the ground, we're going to tighten these nuts. Torque these nuts to 29 foot-pounds. I'll flip this around. This lined up, you can take the wiring harness, get that re-secured. That's good. Put the bolts in. Should be 2 on the side, 3 in the middle. Tighten those down. Snug the other 2 down as well. The wiper transmission, be careful not to hit the windshield. Get that lined up. Get the bolts started. Tighten these down. That's good. Take the connector, line it up, lock it down. Take the right cowl, slide it in below the windshield first. Get it lined up. Push it down, lock it in place. Take the push pin, line it up, push it down. Now take the other side cowl, line this up. Put the bottom of the windshield in first, and then push it down. Take this weather strip, get that lined up, push those in. And the push pin, lock that in place. The windshield arm, get that in position. Put the nuts on, make sure the wiper's in the right position. Torque these to 15 foot-pounds. Just hold the wiper arm so it doesn't move. Put the other wiper arm on. Get the blade in position. Put the nut on. Tighten that down. Torque that to 15 foot-pounds. Take the cap, line it up, lock it down. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.